Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananji Maharaj, to all the sages and saints of this world, and to you, divine souls, watching today's satsang. Today we will be studying Sutra number 14 from the Sadhana Pad of the Raja Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So, commentary by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananji, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So, Sutra number 14 says, Te hlad paritapa falah punya apunya hetutvat. Again, Te hlad paritapa falah punya apunya hetutvat. So, te means they, hlad is joy, pleasure, paritapa, sorrow or pain, falaha, fruits, punya is virtue, apunya, vice, hetutvat, because of. So, meaning they, which we talked about these three in the last sutra, sutra number 13, Jati, Ayu, Bhoga. Jati was class, Ayu was age, and Bhoga was experiences of pleasure and pain. So, here sage Patanjali is saying they give rise to the fruits of pleasure and pain because of virtue and vice. For this reason, they tell us to do good things, virtue, because then you can experience more and more positive things. But because if you have vice, if you have done wrong things, then those experiences are painful. Whereas if we have done good things, those experiences are pleasant. However, the seeds still continue, and as we have learned, we'll have to pull out the entire root itself to be liberated. But definitely pleasure is much better than pain, isn't it? So therefore, initially we start in that effort where we try to build up our sattva, which is purity, and so on. So when virtuous karmas fructify, sattva or purity increases in one's nature. That is what happens. This is how sages and saints are born, or whenever you go to a satsang, you automatically start to feel peaceful, happier. So this brings about expansion in one's consciousness. What happens? Your consciousness expands. See, the problem is we are always so externally focused. Since the time we are born, our eyes are looking outwards, our ears are listening from outwards, food we are tasting is from outside, smell is coming from outside, touch is coming. So therefore, we are so externally oriented that we forget our true inner essence, and we forget what true sattva or purity looks like. But once we enjoy that, we find our true home, we find where we belong, and that brings about expansion in one's consciousness. In our satsang series, whenever we are giving so many satsangs in the Bhagavad Gita and so on, we tell people that is food for the soul. You need food for the soul. Food for the body we'll always eat till the day we die. We'll eat. But your soul is malnourished, it's not getting the right nourishment, the right guidance. There is so much noise in the world, and we are constantly caught in that noise. We forget to experience the real nectar of silence and peace that is coming from within us. And that is where sage Patanjali is, and all the rishis, munis, and Sanatan Dharma Vedas in general are trying to guide us to go there. So it results in the feeling of joyousness. So whenever your consciousness expands, what happens? You experience peace, and that peace is your wonderful reward of your effort, and that you cannot buy in any mall, in any store, in any sale. That's just not possible. You have to earn it through expanding your consciousness. But that does come when you are doing good things, when you are selflessly helping people, when you are meditating, when you are trying to do something with your human life to make a difference, not only in this world, but also in your future, for your future, and to guide others as well. Just like this Guru Shishya Parampara, we call it. My Guru has guided me with all this knowledge, and now I am hopefully guiding each of you with this knowledge, and that you're benefiting and that you do the same. So the cycle continues on and on. So when vicious karmas fructify, on the other hand, rajas and tamas pop up. Rajas is activity, distraction, and tamas is inertia. And what happens? Sattva goes down, your purity goes down, and tamas and rajas start to grow up. And I have another video that I have done. It's called The Three Modes of Nature. If you would like to watch that, that will further supplement your study of these Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And these videos were done in the earlier, maybe in the 2019-20 series. But if you want to contact me, if you are interested in that video and you can't find it, I'll be happy to send you the link as well. But they're all in my YouTube channel, and I hope you can find those and grow even richer in your knowledge. So this gives rise to experiences of what? Bitterness, pain, misery, and sorrow. What happens? So when the vicious karmas fructify, the bad ones, things that if we did some vices in the past, if we had too much anger, we hurt somebody, we caused pain to somebody, so therefore it's payback time for us now, because karma, the theory of karma is you reap what you sow. It's that simple. And so when that karma now has fructifying, and if it was a negative karma, we will have to pay for that negative experience. And it can be, as we have said in the past, many lives from now or in this very life. Nobody knows. It depends on the prarabdha sanchita karma, which karma. So a normal person endeavors to prevent pain and to promote happiness in his life. Any normal person, nobody likes pain. We all like happiness. So by gaining an insight into the law of karma, he should not perform karmas that are negative and sinful. For this reason we say, be holy, do good, be good, love all, serve all, serve, love, give, meditate, purify, realize, do all those good things. So if he does that, he is enriching his karmic treasure, which is the basis of future happiness. And therefore we are taught to do not steal, do not hate, do not, and every religion basically is teaching us the same essential teachings, although they are disseminated in different ways. However, since good and evil are relative terms, it is difficult for a person to ward off all negative karmas. This being so, a wise man understands that even positive karmas are to be ultimately transcended, because their fruits are perishable, and furthermore what seems to be pleasant is really pain in disguise. So even pleasant experiences have to be transcended, as we have said. They're certainly preferable to the negative ones or painful ones, but we will be reading in the future shloka that even they are a cause of pain eventually. So in brief, while a person must endeavor to perform good deeds, he must also gain an insight into the art of going beyond good and evil. He has to transcend both. This is done by rooting out the klesha, pull out the root itself, because while the root exists, the problem is not cured. It will come back, thereby allowing one to attain liberation. So once you are able to remove the root, you will get liberated. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It will happen. The divine law works like that. It is the law. But it comes through divine grace, your self-effort, knowledge, faith, all these qualities which we talk about, humility most of all, compassion, all these qualities are definitely on this path. Any amount of ego will not take us to that path. On the contrary, that's the path that will pull us down. Just having intellectual studies and degrees and knowledge about these things cannot get us enlightenment. We only get that through divine grace and our self-effort. So this point is elaborated. We will discuss that in the following sutra as to how this works. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.